So, backwards and forwards of the phone calls. And one of the first, like, the sets of tests, man's one of the tests we had to go through. So we had to go and see like a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I don't know which one to go. One wants to make sure that you're not tapped and everything's going to go okay and you're going to be able to handle this and things like that. And to be fair, I was a pretty strong person. When I was down on myself for the situation that I had found myself in, but mentally wise, capable of taking stuff and being on television, yeah, I've been on television like multiple times. When I said I belong in a large community promoting events for large people, I'd been on things like Lorraine Kelly and stuff like that before, and I'd been in TV documentaries and bits and pieces. So we went through these tests, and the woman asked you loads of questions and things like that, and she was like, well, from the findings, you know, you're pretty okay. She said, but I do feel like you've got a eating disorder. And I was like, right, okay, which I kind of already knew anyway, to be fair. She said it's a serious eating disorder, and I was like, well, when people put serious in front of things, I think they're trying to, you know, make it all drama. No. Turns out, my eating disorder is obviously socialising, and everything was associated around food. I like food and stuff like that. What they had to understand is this. I like fat people. I like fat bodies. It's my thing. Some people like tall, leggy blondes. Some people like, you know, big muscles, and people like what they like. And I love me a fat body. And I liked my body, to be fair, and I do still like my body. But then I liked my body when I had got a lot thinner. But I like me. But the thing is, whilst I did like me, I was also a bit of a feeder. I love seeing people eat. It's like a home, it's like an earth mothery. Seeing people eat food was amazing. So it turns out I had a serious eating disorder because I pushed my eating disorder onto other people. Not fair enough, you know, it is what it is. One of the things is about these things, they make sure you're psychologically able. Now, I had 2 small children, or 2 kids at the time. Not once was none of these children ever asked, or did they ask me, that I can recall, about my kids. Now, obviously, if I'd have known then what I know now, and how it would affect my children, Ben in particular, I would never have done this. I'm a bellend, and I have quite an open relationship with my children, and we're quite honest about each other. But would I put my children at risk in any way, shape, or form? Absolutely not. So yeah, I mean, when I live in a council house because I'm all bougie and all that. Anyway, keeping it real. When I live in a council house and I had the bath taken out and I had a big double shower fitted because, well, face it, I weren't safe to stand in a shower or get in and out of a bath as if anyway. They actually had to ask about my children in case they wanted to bath. That's from the council. These psychologist people didn't even bring the names into it. Didn't even bring. So we passed all of those tests and everything else pre-program, and then they had the producers come out, and each family had a different producer, or maybe I think each family either had a different producer that had directed it and everything, or they both had 2 families each. Well, the bloke I had, I think his name was Al, he was quite nice, a bit pushy, you know, I threw him out the house a few times, but it was all right. We got to meet those first as well, before we got to meet the man himself. Yeah. I'm never going to name this man. He don't deserve my breath. I'm never going to name his man because I don't want him to I just don't want him having any more. He's not getting any more clout off of my big back. Ever. So he will be called the man himself. Or he who shall not be named. And that's when I got to meet him for the first time. When he knocked on the door. And my son Jake, at the age of, I think he was about 6 or 7, answered it. And I will say, and when he answered it, he who shall not be named did not say, hello, fatty, as everybody says. But I'll tell you where that came from, but it didn't happen. So yeah, follow for the next bit.